So what's up, guys? Now, in our lesson on some other oxides, we explained that peroxides are oxides with a higher proportion of oxygen when compared to that in regular oxides. In this lesson, we will look at perhaps the most important peroxide. We will learn of its origin and see how it is prepared in the laboratory. Now, towards the end of the 18th century, a German chemist, Alexander von Humboldt, while trying to decompose air, produced the peroxide of barium. Years later, sometime in the early 19th century, French chemist Louis-Jacques Thénard used the synthesized barium peroxide to produce a compound that he called eau oxygénée, which means oxygenated water. He called it oxygenated water because he realized that it had one oxygen atom added to the water molecule. Today, we know this compound as hydrogen peroxide, and we now only refer to water containing dissolved oxygen as oxygenated water. In the laboratory, hydrogen peroxide is produced using a similar method as that used by Louis-Jacques Thénard in his preparation process. It is prepared by dissolving metallic peroxides in acidic solutions. Now let's describe the process of preparation of hydrogen peroxide using barium peroxide. The apparatus and reagents needed for this preparation process include beaker, conical flask, filter funnel, filter paper, dilute tetroxysulfate 6 acid, and barium peroxide. Now, after the scientist puts on his laboratory safety wears, he pours in a measured volume of the acid into the beaker and then adds a weighted amount of barium peroxide into the beaker. After about 15 minutes, the reaction should be complete, and at this point, the contents of the beaker should be barium tetroxysulfate 6 and hydrogen peroxide. The reaction that has occurred can be represented by this chemical equation. Barium tetroxysulfate 6, being insoluble, can then be removed from the solution by filtration. To do this, the filter paper is first folded to make a funnel, which is placed inside the filter funnel and then in the conical flask. The solution is then filtered to obtain a light blue filtrate of hydrogen peroxide in the conical flask and a white residue of barium tetroxysulfate 6 left on the filter paper. It is worth mentioning that other peroxides like sodium peroxide may be used. However, barium peroxide is preferred because the sulfate salt of barium is insoluble. Hence, it can be easily separated from hydrogen peroxide. Subsequently, we will delve into other aspects of hydrogen peroxide like its properties and uses. But until then, remember the following. Louis-Jacques Thénard discovered hydrogen peroxide but called it eau oxygénée, which means oxygenated water. Hydrogen peroxide can be prepared in the laboratory by the reaction of metallic peroxides with a dilute acid solution. Don't go too far, I'll be waiting for you in the next lesson.